NASA in itself, not necessarily meaning they'll be naming the flag bearer, or will they?
Maybe not, Hussein. But quoting James Orengo, the co-chair of the NASA Coordinating Committee, as well as his co-chair John Bunyasi, today's meeting will be historic and momentous. And they say that some of the questions that people have been asking will be answered today. So, I mean, the ultimate question that many people have been asking is who will fly the NASA flag in the August general election. So, if that is the ultimate question, or the principal question, then if we were to listen keenly to what James Orengo and John Bunyasi said yesterday, then that is one of the main questions that we would expect the 4 principals and now the 5 principals to respond to this morning. And what I see around is preparations for the meeting today. Of course, the main thing is to welcome Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto to the NASA fold, where he will also be signing the coalition agreement documents. Remember, the coalition agreement that was signed by the 4 principals then provided for the entry of other like-minded political parties. And so Chama Cha Mashinani, headed by Isaac Ruto, becomes one of those like-minded political parties. And so, other than that, signing that agreement that now will, as it were, make him an equal partner in the coalition, we'll also be waiting to hear what they say. But as I told you earlier, Hussein, maybe not. So if our viewers don't get that answer to their question on who will fly the NASA flag by the end of this meeting, then probably they should not say that we lied to them. And if they do, then it will be a bonus to the summit today.
Right, Francis Gashuri, of course, joining us from Bomas of Kenya. Gashuri, stay with us. We'll be talking to you shortly. In studio, our guest still here with us, Dr. Sam Kamau, political analyst, Brian Mutia is a governance analyst, and now, of course, we have Gabriel Mutuma, a political analyst. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time for us this morning. Gabriel, I'll start with you. What do you think will happen if NASA do not name a flag bearer today?
Well, Hussein, thank you first of all for having me, and I really don't think anything will happen. I don't even expect it, unless I told you last time, if there's anything that will go beyond what we've already anticipated, Raila, taking that flag and really becoming the flag bearer, or, I mean, continuing to assert pressure and assert his authority as the main person to fly the NASA, flag, then I think he will surprise both friend and foe. But at this point, what I'm looking in from yesterday when Governor Ruto joined the bandwagon, I've just deducted Joe Nyaga from that equation, and also deducted the deputy president, and you have the 2007 Pentagon when you add in now Wetangula and now the governor for Bomet. So really, the question you all should be asking is, what are we expecting? What are we waiting to see? And I can guarantee you, I go with what Millie said. They've already started campaigning for Raila Odinga. Governor Joho has given also the country that expectation. So really, Hussein, as we sit here, I don't expect a lot to happen. I don't expect a lot to change. What we are going, or what we are being taken to go and confirm, is the flag bearer for that particular ticket, who we already know is Raila Odinga. So really, I don't expect a lot to happen from Bomas. Okay,
and we'll play a few clips from yesterday, where the co-chairs of the National Coordinating Committee for NASA were talking. We'll bring that to you shortly. Let me hear from Dr. Kamau. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen really?
Hussein, on a couple of occasions, the NASA principals have told us, or even the coordinating team have been telling us, we are expecting a major announcement. And when the day finally comes, we don't get a major announcement. At times, it's just creating the expectation, but keeping us guessing. I suspect this could be another one of those moments where we are told to expect a major announcement. What I think the major issue is receiving Governor Ruto. I'm not saying that the flag bearer will not be revealed today, but I think it's still highly unlikely. Most likely, this is an event that will help shift attention from the chaotic nominations that are going on the ground, and perhaps give us a welcome break from those issues, because I think especially ODM, because of having started their nominations exercise early, they have been receiving a lot of heat in terms of even coverage and the discussions around that. So I think this would be a welcome break from that, but I still highly doubt, because I think if the flag bearer is let's say revealed today, is likely to have a direct implications on the ongoing nominations, and I think the principals would rather wait for the nominations first to be concluded before they reveal the flag bearer. But it's also a way of bringing their supporters together and keeping them feeling that yes, we are headed somewhere, we are still together, we are very united. The cracks or the divisions or tensions you've had earlier, they were not true. We are still united. I think it's a show of unity.
Hussein, thank you so much. I think NASA has nowhere to hide anymore. As he has said that they have actually treated us with these anticipations only for them to, you know, dance for us and entertain us. But I won't be surprised if they take the same direction by only announcing Governor Ruto as one of the entrants in the fray. But again, I have a feeling that this is the high time that they are going to break the ice. This is the time that they are going to name the safe pair, perceived safe pair from NASA that would perhaps give Jubilee a challenge in the run for their money. But again, the time is ripe now, Hussein. You can see the electorate are pregnant with expectations to hear why the delay and to hear what is coming out of that delayed process that they have actually treated their supporters. And therefore they cannot wait anymore. They have no time to waste, because time is not on their side. They need to put their house in order. Remember, they also have the issue of a harmonized manifesto that they need to come up with, because all the constituent parties coming on board need to also chip in into that harmonized document that will now be used as the platform for NASA to endear itself to the people. And therefore, to me, I think this is the opportunity that Kenyans should be told who is going to be the NASA flag bearer, Hussein.
Okay, let's first take a look at what was said yesterday from the members of the national, or the co-chairs of the National Coordinating Committee of the National Super Alliance.
All the work that the coalition set to do, NASA as a coalition, is work which is in progress, and a lot of it has been concluded and achieved. And I think tomorrow, if you hear what the leaders are going to say, some of the answers that we want will come out.
Kwa hivyo kesho tuonane Bomas of Kenya. You'll have a lot to hear from us tomorrow. And I wish Kenyans a good evening, so that they can come and join us, so that they can sit and watch televisions and listen to radios, and the day after tomorrow they'll be able to read the newspapers.
And Mutuma, you still think there's nothing coming out of this?
Hussein, I wish you can run a commercial on that, because you have so many people glued to TV waiting for that announcement. But I can tell you, I've tried working in numbers, and my good friend saying there's a safe pair. I don't think there's a soft pair. There's a safe pair. I've tried working in the numbers, even with the joining in of Governor Ruto. It still doesn't make sense. By the way, you cannot agree just for men, and you are doing another additional 5. It doesn't make sense. So when you look at, you know, I agree with what people say, that the more things change, the more they remain the same. I'm trying to wonder, I mean, what safe pair would that be? Because it will nullify what other communities will be saying. And we're saying communities have a way, and they've done this over and over and over again. They have a way of making sure that you are irrelevant, and they sometimes bring you to relevance. You saw what the Kikuyu community, I don't know how I can say this to not appear tribal, but these are the facts. This is how we vote in Kenya. You realize in 2002 how the current president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was made irrelevant by the Kikuyu community when Mwai Kibaki was running for president. It's not that he didn't have that leadership pedigree, but the community actually made him so irrelevant. Governor Ruto right now has been made irrelevant by the Rift Valley community, and it does not matter what he does. He is irrelevant at this point. Ruto, deputy president, is holding the stakes right now. There's nothing you can do in Rift Valley. And sometimes I feel sorry when people say NASA has made inroads in Rift Valley. Tell you what, Hussein, People don't throw power that easily. They are the number 2 in power. Communities don't throw power that easily. This is Kenya, for crying out loud.
Okay, we'll hear from you, Mutia and Sam. Hold your thoughts about what you think about what he has just said. Now we'll also talk about Isaac Ruto now joining us and what that means. Francis Gashuri, of course, is standing by still at the Bomas of Kenya. Gashuri, you've been following what is being said here. Yesterday, when we saw these co-chairs of the National Coordinating Committee sitting together, very few times, because there have been a lot of issues around that committee itself, documents leaking, one saying what you have done is wrong, the other party saying no. But yesterday we saw all of them sit together and say they'll have a lot to tell people today. Are we saying for the first time that committee in itself has agreed and has finalized everything they were mandated to do?
Hussein, they were not all of them actually. I mean, Dr. Eseli Simiyu, representing Ford Kenya, was not present, but they said that he was absent with apologies. Actually, they were saying he was expected in the course of that news conference last evening, but he did not make it. And of course, there have been questions that have been raised about the partiality or lack thereof of some of the members of that coordinating committee. I mean, you've had Wiper members say that Senator Johnson Muthama, who was sent to the committee to represent the interests of the Wiper party and of Kalonzo Musyoka, has not actually been doing a very good job at it. Some even claiming that he is a Raila Odinga ally. And you even remember at one point when Professor Kibudha Kibwana, the governor for Makueni, was incorporated into Wiper, there were allegations that he was being co-opted so that he can come and replace Muthama in the coordinating committee. That did not happen. And so while they say that they have concluded all the activities, that they have actualized the mandate that they had been given by the co-principals at the level of the summit, what we now await to see is the final product of the coordinating committee's work. You remember there's a document that leaked and created a lot of controversy, triggered a lot of fury from some of the supporters of Kalonzo Musyoka and Musalia Mudavadi. And thereafter, Hussein, you remember at one point Musalia Mudavadi visiting Kalonzo Musyoka at the Wiper House. A very brief meeting, but that looked very significant and was the subject of discussions, and even triggered allegations or some perceptions that there could be some coalition that is being worked on within the coalition of NASA. And so some of the issues that we expect to see today is whether actually the coordinating committee has finally decided on the roadmap for settling on a presidential contender, and the larger discussion of power sharing within the coalition, and now the inclusion of Isaac Ruto into the team makes the cake even smaller because there are many more mouths to feed, as it were, in terms of the coalition building. But as the two gentlemen are saying in studio, one of the things that I would definitely be looking out to, and I highly suspect will be happening, is that the four, now together with Isaac Ruto, the five principals, will be trying to portray that image of unity and try to dispel the claims that they have been disagreeing, that they could not even proceed on a retreat this week, actually saying they don't necessarily need to retreat to Mombasa or to Masai Mara or to Naivasha or to Kisumu to agree on some of the things that are outstanding, and they have actually been meeting in Nairobi, and that some of the issues that they were thought to be contentious have now been agreed on. So now we wait to see whether actually there will be a response or an answer, an ultimate answer to the principal question, and then the second question of that of their unity, which is also as important as the first question was saying.
Right, Gashuri, still stay with us. Mutia, you seem to shake your head when Mutuma was talking about NASA.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted him to have this understanding that also communities are not shy away from being flexible and looking for an alternative source of power. If the statements that he has made is anything to go by. But again, I was saying we also need to understand that NASA is a coalition of parties that are perceived to be heavyweights. And most of them are coming with a huge communal, baggage on their shoulders that they need also to act in a way that they are trying to show their communities that I'm not here just to make numbers, but I'm here to also be part of the cake as Gashuri has rightly put it. And I also want to tell him that Governor Ruto of Mashinani, coming into the fray, he might not come with the big numbers, but it might come and change the perception that this coalition of NASA is just an affair of the four principles. By bringing him Isaac Ruto, I think the NASA is demystifying this idea that we need to shift from that arrangement where parties can only be within a certain communal domicile and become a representative of the whole face of the country. And that's why he talked about the issue of Pentagon minus the two who are not there, Nyaga and the Charity Ngilu. And I can assure you that NASA in its rightful thinking is alive to the fact that it needs to capture the imaginations of the people of this country by ensuring that they capture as many phases of this country as possible. I will not be surprised if they also incorporate more and more by the time they'll be making those sort of news that they want to make to this country. And again, reading the minds of Orengo and Mundama, I think anybody who is in his rightful senses cannot actually go against that expectation that this is the day that we are waiting for the big news from NASA. And the news is that they are going to name their flag bearer. Whether it's a safe pair according to Mutuma, that's a discussion for another day, but today is the D-Day that they are going to unveil the faces that are to unveil the faces that we anticipate.
Right, Sam?
Well, like I said earlier, I think the divisions or the imminent the cracks that were appearing last week just before the nominations are still there. We have been told of night meetings, we have been told of disagreements, we have been told of day-long consultations, and I think that is an ongoing conversation, I think, as Senator Orengo has indicated. And he has actually said that we'll get answers to some of the questions we have been asking, not all of them. So I think this is just a perfect opportunity for the NASA family to come together and show that we are together, we are growing, we are expanding. Why I think it's still unlikely that they will reveal the flag bearer today is because, like I had mentioned earlier, there are only two positions that are worth talking about at the moment. That is the president and the deputy president. Anything else can only be discussed after the elections, because you cannot guarantee the position of the speaker, you cannot guarantee the position of chief minister or premier minister, whatever title that will be given. So there are only two positions. Now, if that was revealed today, there is a likelihood that there will be some kind of a fallout and realignment that is likely to affect what is happening on the ground. For example, the nominations that took place in Busia, you see already there is already a tribal angle that is already coming out, and some people saying that our community is being changed in the bigger arrangement. I think a revelation or unveiling of a candidate today is likely to have implications in terms of the counties that are yet to conduct nominations.
So it will only have, according to you think it will have an impact, a negative one, if it happens before the nominations process ends? Well,
not necessarily. It depends on how it's managed, because if the other principals who are not among the two who are named as the president and the deputy, if they, depending on what they say, and if they are satisfied with the arrangement and try to marshal their supporters. But you see, based on the conversations you are hearing, there are still some hardline positions that are coming out, and some people insisting it has to be our candidate, just like you have had.
You would assume, obviously, by the time they're making this announcement, they would have agreed, isn't it?
Of course.
Or you're just saying you're foreseeing a fallout either way?
Well,
what you're saying?
What I think is that partly from the supporters, because remember there are some allies or close allies of the candidates who feel that having their party leader on the ballot gives them better chances of getting elected in their own positions at home. And therefore that is the noise we have been hearing if you listen to somebody like Nyenze and the other people who have been speaking. So definitely whatever is revealed is likely to bring a bit of let's say the feeling that we have been shortchanged. For example, when some people came out saying that no Musalia, no NASA, it was almost sending an impression to the western part of the country or the Luya nation that we are again being shortchanged, we are again being betrayed, and it's likely to have an impact even in terms of voter turnout. So what I'm saying is that the revelation will definitely have some significant impact on how the coalition moves forward. But depending on what the core principles say in terms of trying to marshal the support and indicate that we are still united, we are together, we have the best chance of securing this thing, then I think it may be able to forestall the fallout.
Right. Okay, we're going to cross over to Bomas of Kenya. We'll be speaking again to Francis Kashuri. I think he's trying to get one of the co-chairs of the National Coordinating Committee for NASA, that is Senator James Orengo. We'll be crossing over shortly to Bomas of Kenya, where Francis Gashuri is standing by. Mutuma, from what Sam is saying, Dr. Kamau, is that he believes we're ready with Gashuri. That's what I hear. Right. Let's first hear what James Orengo has to say about what you expect this morning. Gashuri.
Thank you very much, Hussein. I can hear you very well. And James Orengo is here, the man of the moment. As at this point, because the other principals are coming a little later, so he will not be the man of the moment at that time. But for now, because they're not here, he becomes the man of the moment. James Orengo, the Senator for Siaya and NASA co-chair. The viewers out there are asking, the setup looks awesome. What can we expect today?
I think what you're going to expect is going to come from the principals. In fact, they are in the neighborhood, ready to come and tell Kenyans what this event is about today. But one that I can tell you is that Governor Ruto is going to be here today, and there is going to be a display of the agreement that he has signed, showing that formally has joined NASA. There is going to be some announcements made about the way forward beginning today up to the 8th of August, a program and what the public should expect from the leadership. But all else, I think it is the principals who can talk about. But as you can see, it's a historic event, and we want to treat it as such.
Looking at the coalition agreement that he has signed, I mean, he's now principal number 5.
Yes.
Does he have the same rights and privileges like all the other 4 principals previously?
Yeah, he has the same rights. In fact, under the agreement, he now joins as a founding constituent party. So as a principal, he's in the same category with all the other principals. And therefore, it is an honor, I think, to Chama cha Mashinani, because they qualify to be in that first category of the membership of the alliance. There are other, categories of membership which does not measure up to a founding member, but Chama cha Mashinani is going to be a founding member.
When you say this meeting will be historic and momentous, maybe just position. When you say it will be historic and momentous, and provide the way forward in the coming days, does that include the whole ambit about preparing for the general election, naming a flag bearer, and other players in the team to face Jubilee on the 8th of August?
Yes. Here, what we are displaying is a team. This whole concept about a flag bearer is important, but for us, what is important is a team. And it's not just a team about the leaders who are going to be displayed here, 5 of them. We are part of the team. Kenyans are part of the team. And we want to ensure that, the team that is going to lead Kenya is going to operate as one team. Because in a big match like Real Madrid, sometimes it's not Ronaldo that, saves the team. Sometimes it's Ramos, who is a defender. So everybody in the team counts, and that is the kind of leadership that you want to grow up from this NASA.
Lastly, but that question remains ultimate, that people would want to know who will wear the number 9 shirt.
It's going to come. It's going to come. We will not avoid it. The nomination days are beginning. Presentation of nomination is in early May. So it's a question we cannot avoid. But I think it is better we do it in our time, in our space, and the pressure by Jubilee, we are not going to accede to that pressure, because for them it was a given. They didn't have to go through a process. We have gone through a process that ensures that our leadership is all inclusive and it's got some balance.
Sounds like you're saying don't wait for too much in terms of naming a flag bearer, but maybe on other.
That I can say. That I can say, because there's the timelines. Now, if you don't measure up to those timelines, then you'll be counted out. But when to announce, I think, is our space and our time. Yeah.
And I give you that time and that space to prepare as you wait for the principals.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hussein Mohammed, probably now you have a snippet of the answer that probably we were trying to look for. That ultimate question, whether the flag bearer will be named today or not. And listening to James Orengo keenly and carefully, he says, probably don't hold your breath. Maybe that candidate won't be named today, but the process is ongoing, and that in their space, in their time, to quote his words, they will name that flag bearer, that number 9 shirt wearer who will be scoring the goals for the NASA team in the August general election. Back to you, Hussein.
Okay, since Gashuri can't hear me, we didn't want just to let Senator Orengo go just yet. Now you can hear me, but I think he's left. I could see him leaving behind you. I wanted to know then, what did he mean when they said they're going to respond to a lot of questions today? Because now it's clear they're not going to talk about the flag bearer from what he said. So just wanted to know what he meant yesterday when they were addressing the media together with Senator Johnson Muthama. And of course what has been reported in sections of media that they have now agreed to share cabinet slots already. But if you can find him, that is. But thank you so much, Francis Gashuri. We'll be talking to you later on. Mutuma. So, you've been vindicated?
There you go again. Need I say more? I tend to agree with what my good friend Sam is saying to a large extent. And I told you, NASA is like an accident looking for a place to happen. The only problem is that I thought they could find that place in Bomas. But again, Orengo has actually...
but isn't it also important for them? After what has been happening... Because what Orengo is talking about is just clearly trying to show people that this and this and this has been happening, but now we're trying to show you we are together, we are united. Are you saying that has no impact at all?
Nah, zero. Zero. Hussein, and then he's filing,
for their supporters.
He's filing pressure again on Jubilee. Nyenze is not in Jubilee. They are not the people pushing NASA to name the flag bearer. Really, it's not Jubilee. They could have aspects, you know, of pressuring them, but I don't think the larger pressure is not coming from Jubilee. Well, I equate this situation with in what you'd call a marriage with trust issues. Okay, it's more like a gentleman's club where you're brought in through an invitation. NASA, you know, if you look at it, and I really don't want to sound bad on this, but look at how these people came to being. It's ODM inviting somebody one by one. There was an agreement, we are told, between Kalonzo and Raila, which did not work. Trust issues. Now you're telling us there are agreements that you're going to put out there for people to read or for people to see. Again, trust issues suffice. If you look at it really, and if you are to talk one-on-one, you know, Hussein, you invite these guests here many times. You need to bring them one at a time and really ask them this question. Do they have trust in what they are writing? Do they have trust in the agreement? And I'll tell you, if they're honest with you, they'll tell you, they'll play around with words, but deep down they know they cannot trust any pre-election agreement. Okay. That's what I'm saying. You come to the issue of what Sam has alluded to. As much as you have trust issues, what is it that you can really sell? Now, you can't sell the premier, you can't sell what you're calling a super minister. The other day you saw people picking placards, you know, in Western and asking, what is a super minister? Who is that? Maybe you, all right? So you try and bangle as much as you want. You try and find a formula. How will it work? And Hussein, honestly, from where I'm seated, is just it's accidental. It's a lot of anxiety, and I've not seen somebody adding a lot of value than what I believe of Raila being the flag bearer. I don't see it, and that's why I agree with Mutahingunyi when he says Raila is somebody. It's like an old man in a rocking chair. Keeps you busy, takes you nowhere.
Mutia?
Just want to assure Mutuma that the energy is executing is also allowed when it comes to personal decision. And Hussein, I also want to say that it will be grievous if NASA is not going to name their flag bearer today. And I want to say this because reading the moods of the people, the expectations, the anticipations that they have been holding onto their chests, it would be such a disservice to them, owing to the fact that they would want to see a situation where the flag bearer is named. And this rhetoric of, Senator Orengo saying that they are not under any much pressure. Let me tell you that they are under much pressure than never before. It's only that the issues of mistrust, as Mutuma has said before are really not something that we can wish away. They are existing there, and I want to say that their existence is like a marriage which was done, and then the dating process started. They ought to have started dating first and then marry each other, but it is a situation which is quite different. And I also want to say that consensus building in coalitions is not easy. We need to give them that. Coming up with a formula which is actually perceived to be fair, owing to the fact that these people are carrying the interests of their constituents at their back, and anybody who is going to fizzle within the process is going to be seen to be weak. And these people are showing that they are made of it. They are, made of the material that would depict them as warriors from their backyards. And remember, Hussein, most of these people are all coming from ethnic groups that would want to be represented in the coalition. And a small letdown, I think, will be very suicidal for that candidate. And that's why the stakes are very high. The hardline stances that you are seeing there, give and take, push and pull, these are all characteristic of a coalition that has not yet found the right rhythm, the right kind of platform that they would address a way of forming a government in waiting. And I want to challenge them that the time is on the writing is on their wall, Hussein, and any slight delay will continue fatiguing their potential supporters.
Are you saying that it's not important for them to show unity today?
Well, we have been treated to this show of unity before, Hussein. Kenyans have been fatigued by this show of unity. The other time we were really, as a country, waiting to see that flag bearer being named. But what we were treated to was dance, pomp and color. That eventually did not give us, as a country, the flag bearer. And this left Kenyans and the supporters of the fraternity asking the hard questions. Are these guys really serious, or have they really addressed the issues of mistrust between them? And that's a different... that leaves us as a political analysts or governance experts asking ourselves whether these guys are going to remain united as they want to assure us. But again, let's see whether they are going to give us that kind of potentially sensational news that they would want to break to us.
Okay, finally,
yes.
Finally, Dr. Kamau, yeah.
So I think the function today at Bomas is very important for the NASA family. First, in terms of giving assurances to their people, remember that the supporters have been treated with a lot of drama and different voices that almost indicated that the coalition was not together. So the function today is definitely important for two reasons. One, it gives assurances, but number two, the entry of Governor Ruto gives the impression that our family is growing. We are together. We are stable. In fact, if you ask me, they should have considered bringing in Governor Joho as another principle, which gives even a bigger picture of a national outlook or family. In any case, he has better numbers than what Governor Ruto is likely to bring on board. So in my opinion, it's all about perception. It's all about giving a united voice. It's about showing that a show of might, a show of unity, is telling supporters, just give us time. But what I think, because definitely they can't call us and say that we are expecting a major announcement and not say something big. Most likely they may tell us that perhaps over the weekend or next week, because Senator Orengo has said this is not an issue they can run away from for long. So they will most likely give us an indication when that flag bearer is likely to be revealed. The other thing is the whole nation. I believe both NASA and Jubilee supporters, they are anxious to know who will be the flag bearer for NASA. Why that is important, I think you can tell the issues in terms of campaigns have not yet come out. What NASA is saying, we need to kick Jubilee out. And what Jubilee is trying to say is that they are talking about continuity. It's only after the flag bearer is revealed, then we'll be able now to start focusing on the real issues that will drive this campaign.
Okay. Dr. Sam Kamau is a political analyst.